Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sound Test Room. Today, we are taking a look at a new app from Open Planet Software called Sessions, and it's a plugin host. Okay, so this is designed for keyboard players who perform live or in the studio. They want to build their own kind of keyboard sets and stuff like that for live and what have you. You can have 12 scenes per session, if you like, and you can have as many sessions as you like. You can just continually save sessions. You can have up to 12 scenes. Each scene is completely independent of itself, sort of thing. So for example, in this one, you'll see I have atoms here in this slot. Don't worry, I'm going to go through and show you how this sets up. I'm going to explain everything about all these knobs here and everything. One of the coolest features. And you have a keyboard view, but for now, just know that you can have per scene, you can have per session, you can have up to 12 scenes. And the scenes are seamless switching, which means that if I hold this chord for atoms and I switch back to scene 1, you can still hear atoms until I play another note. And then we're hearing piano tech. Now you'll see here I have a BA1 and I've set up MIDI filters for this. So if I click onto MIDI filters, I've set a note range from C4 to G8. And for the Piano Tech 1, let me just close this for you. For the Piano Tech 1, the MIDI filter is, the note range is C2 to B3. So what happens now is if I play my C4, you're hearing BA1. If I play below C4, we're hearing Piano Tech. Now you can also close this window here and you'll see that you can put effects on anything. So I have a dub filter on here and this is on the BA1. And to see any of your plugins apart from these widgets here, just click on this and then your plugin will come up and you can do, well, we can look at it like this, or we can look at it full screen. You could choose another preset. We could switch you just program the plugin as you wish, exactly the same as you would with any plugin. Now, the cool thing is here, let's go back to this view. Actually, let's close this. You can add as many of these as you like. Now, you'll see that I have a couple of auxiliaries here. And if we scroll up here, you will see that I have 2 auxiliaries. One of them is empty and one of them has reels in. So if I play my piano and I'll bring the auxiliary send for Piano Tech up, you'll see that we're now sending Piano Tech through reels before it goes to the main output. See how brilliant this is? If you're a live performer, this is great, you know. Or we could do exactly the same we could send BA1 through. Now you can set up loads of these auxiliary sends. You'll see I have 2 set up here. But I could say, well, look, I'm going to show number 2, no auxiliary. Just click on here and go number 2. I could go and create another one here. So no auxiliary, and I'll just create number 3. Create. And I've got 3. And then you'll see here now that I have 3 auxiliaries. And these are my sends, and I can add as many effects as I like. So to add anything, you just click on this little button here and you can see, in fact, let's close this out just for a moment. You can see we have effects, instruments, or patches. So we can save our patches, and we have this patch, basic mic patch, dual key session, which is this one. So these are your patches and you can load them in from here. So for example, if I just went into basic mics, you can also include audio channels. Easiest way to do this, guys, I think, is just to create a brand new session. So click on this where it says dual keys, just click new, and it's going to create a new session for us automatically. Then we can decide what we want, instruments or effects. Well, obviously it would be better to have an instrument in here first, wouldn't it? So this is going to be scene 1 of session whatever. So scene 1. The session we haven't even saved yet, but we can save as and load sessions and all that stuff. Obviously, I'll show you. So let's first of all look for an instrument to put in here. So for example, I will look for Synthmaster 2. Synthmaster 2, here it is, and we'll load this. Well, all we need to do is drag it and drop it there, and it's already loaded in for us, right? So let's close this. So there it is. Let's just drop this down. And all we need to do now is find a sound that we would like to use. So let's go into our browser for Synthmaster and just choose some sort of, I don't know, doesn't matter. What's this? That'll do, and we're done. So we can, you know, program our new sounds. We can do more browsing, etc., etc. We can change the view of how this looks here. But now see, let's close this. Let's say, for example, we would like to add another synth in to be a layered synth. And maybe I want to change the icons. I'm going to long hold on that. Sorry, I'm just going to tap on it. I can choose different colors, for example, and I can say, well, this is a synth sound, so I'm going to use a synth icon. Close it out like that. This time, let's open this and choose another instrument to layer over the top of that. So let's put in, say, a phosphor 3. Now watch, we pick it up and we hover there. Okay, so we find our, there, we want to put it below Synthmaster. Because if you put it on another thing, now we've got both our sounds playing in a layer. And very nice it is too. I'm going to turn the volume down for Synthmaster 2. And this now, obviously, because I haven't set up any MIDI filters, this is just going to play across the entire keyboard. Let's do one more for good measure. Let's look, say, what we got for audio thing, and maybe the, yeah, let's put in the RES09 string synth. So like I said, we grab hold of it here, and then we can drop it here. And now it adds it below. And now we've got 3. Now we can start to set up how we would like this to behave. So we have complete, by the way, I can add more. I can add as many as I like. Let's just close this out for a second, see what's going on. So here's our synth here. Here's our RS. But to see any of our other synths, look, we can just click on. Let's pan this. See, this might be what you want for your gig. So for example, now let's just save our session. Yeah, so we'll click down here and we'll go save as, and I'll just call this triple synth just for now, triple synth, and we'll just hit move, bosh, like that, and it'll move it to our patches folder for sessions, which you will find on my iPad folder. So look, you'll notice, right, we have little widgets now that have appeared that have put in certain macros for us. Let's look at, say, the RE. Look. These little macros you can map to, obviously, MIDI as well. But if we click on this, we can go widget builder, and now you'll see this is the widget that it's been picked for us. But we can say, well, look, I would like it to look like, I'm going to have it look like this, and it's going to it's going to change the theme, right? But we can add another fader in. Let's just do that. It's going to add another fader in wherever we like. Let's put it at the end. We could add a spacer in. Let's put that there like that. So there's a spacer there. Oh, we could add in a switch. Okay, so switches on and off. Now, here's the thing. Let's apply. And you'll see we've got this vibe going on here. This is very, very cool, right? If we click just underneath where nothing is written down and we go parameter, we can say, well, what's this parameter going to control, right? And maybe we would like it control the, I don't know, the tone, right? Okay. And now this will, this will control the tone of our RES. So let's have a look at the synth. Let's open it up here. And let's find tone. Where is it gone? In fact, let's see if I can hear it. Let's just solo it. And I'm going to assign this switch to be ensemble on and off. There we go. So this now should... Oh no, switch this one on and off. Watch. String ensemble. This would be organ ensemble. So let's go in and add in another thing for our widget builder. Let's add in another switch for the widget builder, and we'll put that right. We'll put that before it because it's before it on the synth, right? Makes more sense. Let's go in here and say parameter organ ensemble. Is it the? There it is, organ ensemble. And now, if we look, there's our string, and our organ ensemble is now being assigned to this widget. So you see how easy it is to assign the widgets to stuff, and how, you know, you're not stuck to saying have them just this size. You can just go in. I mean, if you're happy with the mappings that they've already give you, that's fine. Go to widget builder and say, well, okay, I'm just going to change the style. I mean, you know, just so you can stay organized. Now, let's say we want to add an effect. So again, we just click on here. I'm going to go into effects. I'm going to search for reverb here, and let's see what we've got going on. Rack reverb, I think, might be somewhere. There we go. So I'm going to just grab this reverb here, drag it in there, and close that just for a moment. And unsolo this. Awesome stuff. So now we've got our triple layered synth. Now you might be thinking, well, we're stacking stuff now. So this is where the MIDI filters come in super handy. Let's say, for example, this phosphor. Let's say you would maybe like this an octave higher than it is, but now you're playing all your synths over the entire. So going up and down with the octave on the keyboard is going to move them all up and down. So if we go into MIDI filter now, we can say, right, we can do input port. We're doing all inputs. That's fine. You can choose a channel. Note range. This is how you'd set up your splits. So if we didn't want our phosphor anywhere between, let's say we want the phosphor only to be from C4. Okay, so let's just tap on this. Find C4. We'll do this by scrolling down and around here. So there it is, C4, and there's all your fours there. So now the range, I'm not hearing phosphor below C4. Okay, but from C4 and above, I've now got phosphor. So maybe I've got my synth master. Okay, so you get the idea there. I think this is a mono sound. Let me just check. Let's solo this. I'm going to go into Synth Master here. So just click on this little icon here. Let's go Synth Master full page. And I'm going to change this to a polyphonic sound. There we go. That's fine. That's polyphonic, and that will do for the purposes of the demo. Okay, let's close this out. So now let's unsolo. And it lets you know what MIDI filter's been used. So we've altered our phosphor, which is now above. Let's go to MIDI filter and say we don't want that synth master. So the highest note for this wants to be B3, and anything below that is not going to be what we want. So let me just find my threes here. There we go. And I'm looking for B3. So above B3, no synth master C. So solo until I hit B3. Okay, super duper cool beans. Let's add in a auxiliary. So you know how to add effects, and you can add as many of them to as many synths as you like, just as you would in, say, something like AUM or Cubase. This is not like AUM. This will not. You can't use MIDI effects with this, or at least you can't yet. But it'd be great if you could. However, it's not really the point of the app. The point of the app is for people who perform live or in the studio and they want to build their super synths before they go to work. That's the point of sessions. Right. Okay. Let's see what we're doing. Okay. So we want to add in an auxiliary send for one of these. Now, clicking on this, we could create them here. If I go like this, if I go right, no, I'm going to go create auxiliary one, and you'll see it will create it here for us. Or you can just hit this little plus icon. You can create a software instrument, same thing as what we've been doing, just audio input. So you can have audio input, your guitar, microphone, etc., etc. You can do all that with sessions. That's fine. Or auxiliary, and you can create another auxiliary, create like this, and now you've got auxiliary 2. So let's go with creating 2 auxiliaries for each of these. And then you've got auxiliary 1. I'm just going to go auxiliary 2. And then we can go auxiliary 1, auxiliary 2. They're buses, basically. Auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2. Now, all we need to do is add a couple of effects that might be good for auxiliary stuff. So let's see. Let's open our thing here and maybe look for, well, a limiter you could put on your on the output channel. So just for example, we just drop that on the output. So now I've got my limiter on the output channel. So let's go back to the auxiliaries. Okay. And you'll see it creates a widget for you. You do not need to create a widget. It will automatically create one for you. And it will automatically assign some stuff. So you can set your ceiling, obviously, with this one. Awesome stuff. So let's do our auxiliaries. Let's close that. So let's see, what could we have? What could we have? I'm just going to remove that because I didn't mean to create one. Let's go with our effects. And Well, I mean, to be fair, it would be like something like a let's just go with a compressor, shall we? So let's go compressor. It doesn't really matter which compressor. Let's do with the NY compressor on this one. And also maybe for auxiliary 2, what would be a reverb, kind of a globally kind of reverb thing. So let's go with a reverb, and let's use, let's see, let's use the Stratosphere Cloud reverb for that, and I'll stick it there. Now it's created a auxiliaries for those. Right now, it hasn't created any widgets for for auxiliary 1, which was the New York compressor. Right, let's close that. Don't need it. Let's see what we've got going on. So we need to send. If we want to hear any of this go to either of these, we need to use our send control, right? So for example, I'm going to send, scroll down, let's send the RES09 to auxiliary 2, which is the compressor. And this is really good because you're sending varying amounts. It is the controllers up to you, up to our NYC compressor here. Let's make a widget with some description. Let's do this. I'm going to add in some bits and pieces. Just maybe a couple of 4 controls, and I hit apply. And we can say, well, I'm going to look for the parameter here. Oh, look, now this is a fault of the app. It's not letting us assign a parameter, which is why, well, that's pretty old to be fair. It's not letting us assign a parameter, but we could say we've still got our control for the, compressor, so that's okay. Now, let's see. What can we do now? Let's first of all send some of the RES, not the RES09. Let's send some of the Synth Master. Let's send some of that to auxiliary 1. Oh, that's the compressor, right? Okay. My fault that was. So oh yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. So you send your auxiliary sends to whichever effects you want to put in. Now, here's another cool thing. Sessions is recording everything you do all the time in a buffer that doesn't affect your memory and stuff like that. It just stays in its own internal buffer for, say, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. It's up to you. If you click on this here, you will see that now everything I play, see it'll appear here, it's been recorded. So let's unsolo this. Now, if I stop this, right? If I stop this record, I can go to anywhere here, say, for example, here. And it's playing back, right? I can also save this. If I click that, it's going to save, it will actually save the whole thing to this entire region. I can select a region, say, for example, like this, or like that. I might just want it to. Let me just do this with my fingers, because otherwise. No, sorry. It's easier if I stop it to do this. So I'm going to move that to the end. Move that to, come on. Anyway, there we go. So say, for example, I want to play back that, or just save that section. So, I mean, it's great, this is, because if you might have played something that you really like. But you see, it's just recording all the time. And as soon as you press stop, this bit here, this bit of grade, if I click this now, this is what's going to be saved, right? And you can go and have, I mean, it's in the Files app. It's easy. It's no big deal, right? I've made loads of changes and it'll start again, but you can change how this works, right? If we open this little icon here and we go to settings, you've got your display settings. You can have this on light, way too light for my liking, but you can have it on system, which is dark, or just you can choose dark here. Here are your audio settings, which is my audio interface. You can choose the sample rate here. You can have up to 96K. The buffer here is mine's on 128. You can set it to, well, you can see what you can set it to, whatever you like. Metronome, you can record the session yourself properly. So say, for instance, you wanted to record your entire gig or your studio session, you can change the sound of that metronome, and that metronome is here like this. Okay, so let's go back to our settings. Let's see. Yeah, record the metronome. No, you never really want to do that, do you? MIDI, well, self-explanatory. You can hit, I've got AUM enabled because that's what my microphone is going through. Controllers, and then recording. Now, this is where you change it. Say it's at 48K now, so it's recording compressed, but we can set this to PCM, which is the slightly bigger file size. Here's the buffer length. This is how long it will record for before it deletes it and kind of drops it out the buffer sort of thing. And like I said, you can have up to 15 minutes. So 5, 10, 15, you know, for capturing ideas, probably that is absolutely fine. Right. Okay. What else can we do? Well, we've got a keyboard view here, and then we've got these large macros. Now, these large macros, they will assign themselves to certain things, right? You'll see you've got this big knob here. You can assign, like anything else, and this would be different. See vibrato rate on here. You can assign them to anything you want. All right. It's just another set of macros for you to use. So, for example, if I go, look, all this has already been assigned. But if I look at phosphor, for example, what have I got? Anything assigned to phosphor? Yeah, the bottom 4 are assigned to phosphor. So if we look at rack reverb, what's been assigned to that? If you wanted to assign this to, say, the reverb size on here, you just click on big knob and you'll go, I don't know, learn, go this, no, sorry, move this like that. And then you'll go done. And now it's assigned to rack reverb size. And you can assign another one. You could say, right, let's assign let's go with learn new and go low cut. Done. And now we've got so now our big knob is assigned to reverb size and low cut. Okay. So let's finish off by creating another scene. So you've seen what we can do. So we go to this one now, and don't worry, this is all going to be saved as part of your triple synth anyway, or whatever you've called your session. Let's go to part 2 now, and let's just drag in an instrument. Let's load BA1. Load it there. Right. Because I want to show you something, right? So again, you'd go on and on. You'd I'm going to go full screen on this and pick a sound. So. Okay, that'll do. I'll just close this. Sorry, go back to my thing. So, for instance, this Sessions has seamless sound switching, which is really useful if you're a live performer or working on a session in the studio or something, right? So say, for instance, you have got this set up how you'd like it to be. You've got loads of effects. You've changed the macros. You've set stuff up. And then your next song or your next part of a particular song, you might have called this, has this scene. But you need to be over. This needs to be playing. It's sustaining into the next part, right? All we need to do is hit the session. You can play the chord. And you'll see that is still going on until I play another key. And now. So now you've got your two sessions, your two sounds, and they've both been just seamlessly switched. Dead handy, that is. Anything else? I think I pretty much covered everything. Like I said, this is not some sort of replacement for AUM or anything like that. It's more like Camelot or Mainstage on the Mac. This is also, by the way, available for Mac as well, I think. In fact, it is. There you go, guys. Sessions, which is a plugin host. It's kind of like for live performance and working in studios and stuff. Set all your stuff up before you go to your gig or what have you, and then, it's there. Save forever, saves you lots of time. Anyway, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you later. Please strike the like if you enjoyed the video. Consider becoming a patron. And I'll see you later. And you can see how customizable it really is. It's really good. Awesome stuff. Excellent. Anyway, ta-da. See you later.